In this video, I'm going to just provide some information about how people navigate child relocation. There are two really broadly separate areas. There's international relocation, and what I'm really going to talk about is sort of domestic or internal relocation. But very quickly, with international, people need to be careful, because if you're wanting to move overseas with your children, then you will need the consent of anyone else who's got parental responsibility, and that usually and obviously is the other parent. And if they refuse to give their consent, then you need permission of the court. If you don't do that, then prima facie this will amount to child abduction, okay, from a parental child abduction, okay? So you run the risk of having your child summarily returned to this country. But with internal domestic relocation, inevitably when people separate in England and Wales, and that is the jurisdiction, not the United Kingdom, England and Wales, they will just go. Okay, they might not be from the area that they're living in, and they might want to return home to be with family or friends, and move to a different city or different locality altogether. Now, I've just mentioned the international perspective, and that's moving children out of the country, the jurisdiction of England and Wales. But here, we're moving them in England and Wales. So is there a difference? Well, for starters, there is a difference in that you don't actually need the other parent's consent, that person with parental responsibility. So sometimes people will take literally the law into their own hands, and they'll just move, and then the parent left behind, the first they'll know about it is that the schools have been changed, the children are living in a different area, and that presents its own problems. And for starters, the parent moving internally hasn't actually done anything wrong. The difficulty there is that the courts will frown on that sort of unilateral action, okay? So if you do take these steps, don't be surprised if the parent left behind actually issues an urgent application before the court for what's called a specific issue order, that the children live in a certain area and go to a certain school, perhaps as well coupled with a Prohibited Steps Order, that once back they can't move from that locality, and a child arrangements order that the children live with them, okay? So it really does up the ante. So you just have to be very careful that it's not as straightforward as just moving. What you should do in that scenario is seek legal advice to see, is there a better way of dealing with this? Because if you do, and there might be 10 or 20 reasons why you want to relocate within England and Wales, but to do so in a proper way, and that would warrant your own application to the court. So that's looking at it from the right end of the telescope, that you make your own application basically to seek the court's permission, a specific issue order, seek the court's permission for that relocation and with your reasons why. Equally, if you're the parent that's potentially left behind, you might want to take some steps beforehand. You might have a fear that the relationship's broken down. You might have seen an email, there might have been a conversation at home that I'm going back to my family. So you could take steps, preventative steps, to stop that parent from moving in the first place, the children. Because fundamentally, the court's looking at what is in the best interests of the children, okay? And sort of this to and froing between different areas of the country is not going to be in their best interest, nor is potentially changing schools. It's just going to lead to a lot of confusion and perhaps separation between the parents and delay in terms of that relationship where they can't actually see the other parent. You can see that at each stage it is quite important to take legal advice so you can make an informed decision about what to proceed, what the risks are and what the merit is in your case, before taking any unilateral action. For the other parent, maybe to take some preventative action to stop this happening in the first place.